What do you think the last week has done for your football team heading into this one?
That'd be hard to say. I think there's a little different feel in the building. I think everybody has taken to Coach Guyton. I think everybody's excited for him. But obviously, I think we've got some bumps and bruises healed up a little bit better than what we had before. But it'd be hard to say. I'll know a little bit more, how we adjust to the new offense and things of that nature. Or the less offense, I guess would be a better way to say it. We'll know more about that as the week progresses, I think.
So practices are not for viewing for the media this week. Are you wanting to maybe have some different looks, spring some stuff on Florida?
Well, we trust you. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has everything. We've had plenty of distractions. I'm just trying to close it in and making it about us this week, to be honest with you. We don't have a problem with y'all coming to practice and at all. It's just something that with Kenny and his new role and things of that nature, I'm trying to take any type of added pressure that he might have off of him.
Coach, you mentioned get some bumps and bruises healed. Is there any chance for Rocket Sanders this week?
Well, he's back, so we'll see. I anticipated him practicing today, but how much he can do, I don't know. But I'll know more about that when I talk to y'all again Wednesday. I'll know more then about that because obviously I don't know where he is physically.
Did you watch any football this weekend, or did you just kind of get away from it and focus on recruiting and stuff?
I did. We had a great day on Friday. I mean, it was really good to get out and get into high schools and go watch games and things of that nature. I did. I started out watching A&M in South Carolina and headed to watch Georgia, Florida, and watched that, and then took a little nap and watched the end of the Colorado game. But it was fun to be a spectator with no pressure, and no, not having to make any decisions, just sit there and have an old cold beer. So it was fun.
Imagine most of the football you watch is in a film room with, fast forward. You probably don't get to watch a whole lot of telecasts. How was that?
You don't. If you have a night game, you might be able to watch, an 11 o'clock game or something like that. But, it's amazing. You try to help these kids reach their goal at the NFL, and you never see them play. You just don't. College-wise, it was fun. I mean, those are fun. I see why people are fans of college football. It was a lot of fun, and I think too, as the week went on last week, Trey, if I was thinking about it because I had after the game that I went to, I met Jamie down in Hot Springs, and I was thinking about what transpired in a week's time, and then you can take it back from 7 weeks, and what's really transpired over the last 7 weeks or 8 weeks. And, we've got a problem that we got to get fixed, but from a week ago to where we're sitting today, I feel good about where we're at.
Sam, I think I've got this right. Nudie was in uniform against Mississippi State but didn't play. Is he going to be full go for you this week?
Well, he was full go. He's still trying to work his way into playing time. But he was full go. He was able to play last week. It's just right now he's not starting for us. So.
Just sticking to with the defense, how do you keep the mojo going that you've got, I guess, from the Mississippi State game previous weeks? How do you carry that after a bye week?
Well, I think they'll continue to play hard. I would think it'd be very, very hard for them to lose their enthusiasm and their luster and their will to play because of the coaches that they have over there. They hold them very accountable, but yet they're very positive and very charismatic with them, and they're believing. Hopefully that's what will happen to our offense as well this week, and we'll go out there and have us a really good football game. But I think there's been games this year where we had opportunity to win, or we were ahead or tied, and things didn't always go our way there on defensively either. So it's really be very hard. It's easy when it's 7-3 because you're going, we held them to 7 points. You can't score 10 points, but there's been other games too where that's why it's a team game. It's been other games where we got to play better there as well. So I don't think there's no this, and this. I think we had a problem. I think the team feels like I'm trying to correct it, and I think they're fine with it.
Bye weeks can sometimes be a time where the young guys might flash when you're not preparing for a specific opponent. Just curious if anybody maybe had a good week. And
we didn't. A lot of times, I think maybe 2 years ago, we had a freshman, sophomore, young, not playing scrimmage. I remember we had a knee injury in that time, and I'm not laughing about it. We did, and I was going, man, I wish we wouldn't have done that now. But this week was more of a run-throughs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we practiced on Thursday. So really it was more about, and it had to be that way because of the new coordinator. It just changed this week, so we weren't able to quite get the younger guys in view as much as what we normally would in a bye week.
I think you said last week that Chambly was okay after the back injury. Still, he's fine this week.
Yeah, he's fine. I think him and Dev will figure it out this week. Who will be the starter there? They'll both play.
Sam, have you ever been on a staff where there was a mid-season coordinator change? I'm just curious if you have anything to look back on to kind of help you through this past week, or do you talk to mentors or anything like that?
Man, I don't think I've ever been through a mid-season coordinator change. I've had a lot of jobs. I've been through some late-season head coaches getting fired. It's terrible, But I don't know. I mean, it's terrible for everybody, fans, players, coaches. But I don't know if I've ever been through that. What I wanted to do is make sure that we brought the life back into the program, brought the enthusiasm back into the program, accountability. And I'm not saying we didn't have any of that before because it makes me sound like I'm blaming a guy. I'm not. I've already spoke about Dan and my respect for him. But something has to change, And so I feel like we've done that. But I can't remember ever having a coordinator change during the season, to be honest with you.
And you mentioned simplifying the playbook, condensing it down. Is that process done now? Now you're focusing in on your set of plays? And what maybe, do you know what kind of percentage is, like 50% of the playbook, or do you know?
Man. We probably cut it down, I don't know, if I'm guessing, maybe 30% of it we cut out. We're trying to do the things we do well, and more specific to what we can do versus how to attack a defense. Now, hopefully they'll combine with checks and RPOs and a way to throw off of that and run off of that. But probably about 30%, and probably cut another 5 last night, to be honest with you, because some of the things we had in, I want to be able to do it with that everybody's on the same page, blocking the right guys, and playing as fast as we possibly can with ability to have that tempo and all those type things. And so you have to cut your playbook down a little bit because of that. But what we're doing, I think we're doing pretty good. And so we cut a little bit out of it last night.
Coach, I know we talked about chipping and stuff with the running backs and tight ends in the past. I was curious how you, assess the pass protection from the running back group to this point in the season.
We've got to get better. Not solely just on obviously our worst game was against Mississippi State, but we have to get better there. We also had to put them in less possibilities to protect as well. I mean, obviously on third down, you've got choices. What kind of protection do you want to use? You want to go 6, 7, 5 man protection. How do you want to do it? But Damo has been really the biggest back in protection and things of that nature, and we've used him a little bit, but it's got to get better, and the kids know that as well. But Florida certainly has a defensive end that is really good, and they have a couple of them. But number one is exceptional, got a nice spin move and things. We can't let him just wreck our game.
That was going to be my next question. I guess I'm assuming, you've watched a lot of Florida tape to this point. Just what do you think overall of the Gators?
A lot of team speed. You really want to stay out of third and long. They've got a lot of stuff. So we're having to figure out exactly how we're attacking that. We've got an idea of how we think we can win third down. But they're a lot like Georgia was, odd front with four-man front, a lot of field pressure, a lot of boundary free safety pressure. Third down, big-time exotic team. Offensively, they want to get the ball to the edge, whether it's stretch, whether it's reverses. I really like what they're doing offensively. They are hiding the football. It's old school wing T, who has the ball. I mean, it's not wing T, but you get the idea that they want you to figure out where the ball is a little late, and a lot of dressing pre-snap and post-snap. But they're really wanting to attack the edges, no matter what that might be. A lot of reverses, a lot of jet sweeps. They've got at least two really good running backs that they love to run the stretch with, and they're both really good players. Their quarterback, is very accurate. Doesn't throw a lot of deep balls, but the balls that he throws, he's very, very, very accurate. Very good player.
I don't know. Do you know Billy Napier? How well do you know him? And kind of he's in his second year. He's obviously trying to get Florida back to where they have been.
Yeah.
Just kind of what's your take on maybe where they are?
I like Billy a lot. Came up through Louisiana and did a wonderful job there at the university, and I know I know the O-line coach Rob Sale on the staff, and have a lot of respect for Billy. He's got them playing really hard, and they've got a good team. There's a heck of a win against South Carolina a couple of weeks ago to come back like that down 10, but I have a lot of respect for him. I think the whole coaching community has a lot of respect for Billy.
You mentioned, well, you didn't mention him, but their quarterback Merch, transfer from Wisconsin. He's got 14 touchdowns, only 2 picks, 76% completion rate. Maybe a little more thought on him.
A lot of play action, a lot of naked throws, a lot of bubbles, not a lot of shots, not a lot of long balls, let's say that. I mean, they attempt those, but I would say the majority of their passes are within that 10-yard and under. On fourth down against South Carolina, they threw one out there about +3. They need 11, and the guy just made a play. They've got 2. They got more, but 1 and 3 is wideouts are really, really good players, and one of them's a freshman, I believe, the number 1, and but they're not asking him. To me, to sit in there and read the full field all the time. Now, they do, obviously, but to me, they run a lot of things that he can do and he does well, and therefore they're not putting him in a lot of positions where he's throwing it up for grabs.
With kind of the knock-on effect of Kenny being OC, just has Derek...
I couldn't hear you.
With Kenny being OC, has Derek done anything different with the receivers so far, or do you plan to do anything different with them?
No, I think Kenny is involved with the receiver play as well, but no, not to this point. I mean, we're trying to cut down some of the things that we do so they can do them a little bit faster, but... No, I don't think anything's different.
Then you find we talked about how you have some time to watch some football this week, and any time for personal reflection that you weren't, preparing for a specific opponent?
I think you do that daily and maybe hourly and what's the word, minutely? I don't know what it is. I think you do that anytime that you are in a situation that we're in. I mean, you either give up or you try to figure out how to get out of it, And so, yeah, I think there's a lot of reflection on what we've done right, what we've done wrong, how to correct it, how to get better, those things of that nature. But the key is, are we fighting like hell to change it or are we not? And I can promise you that we are, and we means everybody in the building and the players.
Hey, so I know you went to the Swamp in 13 here, but you didn't go in 20. So I'm wondering how many times you've been there and just kind of what you think of that.
We went over, played them when I was at Western Michigan. I think when I was that single year at Tennessee, they came to Tennessee. Haven't been many times at the Swamp because obviously when I was at Georgia, we played them over in Jacksonville. I can't remember. Northern Illinois, we went there. But I can't remember going there much. I had COVID the last time we went there, so I didn't get to go. I think I'm sure I'll remember something when I leave about when I went over there, but there hadn't been many times, I don't think.
Coach, about the bye week for your defense, it was playing so well before the bye. Now a chance to get some guys freshened up a little bit. That's got to give them an extra push for the last month of the
100%
season.
100% correct. There's a lot of confidence there. I will say this is a good offense that we're getting ready to play, a good offensive line, really good receivers, quarterback, running backs are good, a really good offensive schematic. So we've got our work cut out for us. We can't let them get to the edge. But you're right. I think we'll be as healthy as we've been on both sides of the ball all year. And I guess that's what bye weeks are for. I don't know, you guys have to look it up, but I think we've done well off of bye weeks. I don't think we had one our first year, but I think we won the last or the other two, the byes. I think we did. I think we beat Mississippi State here one year, and then last year I think we went to Auburn after the bye week. So we've had some good success off the bye weeks.
How KJ's feeling, I guess, is really important for maybe the state of your whole team. How's he dealt with the change? What have you seen from him this last week?
I think he's excited about the change. I mean, no disrespect to anybody on that, but I think he's excited about that. I think he's a guy that we probably needed to take some offense off of, where he could play faster and be more confident with what he's doing. But he's healthy and becoming, I think even the last week, I think his leadership skills were better. I think, anytime a guy opens his mouth and talks, I think he's got to back it up. And to me, that's what a leader does. And if you're not wanting to lead, you probably don't talk because you're not wanting to back up what you say. And he was more vocal this week last week than what he had been.
Yeah, Coach, do you think Rocket was kind of targeting this game a little bit, maybe as a motivational factor to get back for his home state?
Man, I don't know. Trey, that's a good thought. I really don't know. In all honesty, I think he was just hurt, and this was good timing, or ended up being good timing, being able to go back to Florida.
Not a whole lot of Florida players on your roster. I think you got 5 scholarship players, 2 that you recruited, 2 pretty good running backs, Augusta and Rocket. Mm-hmm. You guys planning to get out and look at players in Florida? Or
probably not this week. Again, I think with the change, everything kind of changed a little bit, and we're trying to keep everything in-house. So I won't we won't be out recruiting this weekend because, again, it's an early game as well. And we got to do everything we do to put the best product on the field that we can. And so I think with all what we're doing, we're just trying to make about us, and we're going to kind of stay in the submarine this week.
Is that a state, though, that I guess just because of the background with coaches on the staff that you guys don't hit a whole lot or just focus on other areas?
Well, I think obviously where I like to recruit, and then to be perfectly honest with you, I think Georgia probably was our Florida, to be perfectly honest with you, and just because of the relationships we had with the high school coaches, and we have several different coaches that have Georgia, not necessarily ties, or you understand what I'm saying. So I didn't know if we spot Florida where we really recruit Georgia, and I also thought that the better the programs are doing in the state, the harder it, and Florida State's doing really good, and Florida's doing good now, and Miami's doing good. So we're in the state of Georgia, everybody goes in there too, but Georgia can only take so many guys, and so that's why we went that way, and that's why that's our feeling on Florida.
Just curious with Kenny, I know he's coaching quarterbacks now, but his experience at receiver, now being the offensive coordinator, are there any ways where he can maybe start to maximize the wide receiver unit now that he's calling plays?
Well, he knows them better than anybody, so I think targets for whom he thinks are his best players is going to be big for us, and he knows them better than anybody, so he should be able to know what routes they can run the best and where they can get open, and we can get it to them faster. You watch tape and you look at a lot of different things on tape, but what you might or might not look at is how fast the quarterback gets rid of the football. And, sacks can have a lot to do with protection, have a lot to do with running backs. It can have a bunch to do with wide receivers, and they can have a bunch to do with the quarterback. And so we've got to speed up all that process. We hope to protect better and those things of that nature, but we also have to be able to move the pocket, add different chips, and add and do it in a game. And so there's a lot to be said about all that kind of stuff.
How would you say Josh Braun's played? He's obviously going back to Florida where he played a couple seasons. Just kind of your thoughts on his season so far.
Josh is tough. He's played hurt quite a bit this year. I think he'll be as healthy as he had. I'm sure it'll be an exciting point for him to go back to Florida and be able to play in that game. He's a quiet kid, so he would never say anything. But obviously anybody that transfers from somewhere and they go back and have an opportunity to play, they want to play well, maybe a little extra motivation there. Josh had a good season for us. Lord knows where we'd be if he didn't come in here. And I look for him to continue to improve each week, and he still has 2 years after this to help us on further than that.
Coach, I think last week you mentioned that Kenny was maybe more comfortable on the sideline, but I saw in Kyle's notes he's going to be in the booth. Is that right? And just kind of what went into that decision?
Thanks, Coach.
Where are the notes so I could know what's...
Kyle could probably get you some.
He I don't know when he told Kyle, but he told me that he wasn't that comfortable. He didn't think he'd be comfortable on the sideline after he initially thought that's where he needed to be. And I think part of that has to do with Keefe, somebody asked me about it, Derek. And so I think part of that had something to do with it. But I think he'll be, any coordinator to me that's especially young will be much better upstairs. But I gave him that opportunity to decide what he wanted to do, and he's changed to want to be in the box.
And you mentioned Nudie is second team now. Is it anything he needs to do to get back to first team, or is he just kind of got Wally pipped?
Well, I just think, I think there's probably something to be said for that. But Nudie's a good player, and I look for him to continue to compete. And it just is what it is right now. But he certainly can earn that spot back, and I expect him. He's a great kid, and I expect him to battle his butt off to get it back.
I appreciate you.
All right, guys.